Hey the rulers, DMO73 here, getting us caught back up with the Siphone stun list. It's time to slow things down, pay attention to class, and jump right in.
Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to pre-order upcoming Force of Will sets, ccgprime.com for singles and supplies, cardodoko.com for those rulers in the international market looking for product,
As well as our guest lecturer members, Vite Ramen and Full Grammar Alchemist.
Class is in session.
So here is the list. It's slightly updated from what you saw before, and quite honestly, doesn't really even change much if we want to take it into Wanderer. I think Siphone Stun, really, the only things that would change is some of your tools become a little different. You can play some newer things, like you can play Mirror, which is nice if you want some more interaction, but mostly the deck kind of stays unchanged, I think. It's very cool making use of the inevitability of Siphone's Judgment here. In Paradox, it's a lot easier for Judgment of 4. You use Python primarily because of the access to the 6-card rune deck, which is really nice, and to just kind of really slow the game down. You want to play it at your pace, not their pace, and tell them if they're going too fast, slow it down as you generate those detention and merit counters. Making use of Map of Abraxas in this list, primarily because we do really need all 3 colors in this list to make the best use of it, and we also really want to find a Tar Swamp pretty early too, so that Python has a really easy time getting to that 7 counters at a good pace to be able to give us that extra turn if we haven't already Judgmented Siphone. Making use of Python Suffocating Bracers and a single copy of the book. Main reason why we're playing a copy of Hutriel in this deck is because we can use Vestige of Amartia's Grace to produce double white to get him into play pretty quickly, and then he puts things with Bestow into the field by themselves, which makes Suffocating Bracers a lot faster to get in and cost you a lot less to get in, especially when you combine it with things like Iris. It's really nice if she has Suffocating Bracers on because of the Bane element, and Defiant 2 does some pretty cool stuff there. A lot of control elements, Defenders of the Lower Plateau Wall. Your max hand size is 5, but you want to be drawing extra cards too so that you can pitch them to the pitch spells like Uppercut and Zacky's New Plan. Get to make use of some really awesome stuff like Mikey to be able to clone things like Engraved Fruit of Motionless Freeze, which is really awesome, as well as Vanishing Touch to be able to bounce stuff, recycle it, and Glyph of Scarring Divination. Now, I do think this deck changes a little bit post-ATD. I think Scarring Divination probably becomes Reconnaissance or Valgot Surveillance. I do think Vanishing Touch becomes the blue-white Paradox rune. Most of the main deck, I think, though, kind of changes, stays the same. We're playing things like Puciel and Kushiel, which I think are really nice in those stun elements. Again, you're playing slow, which means you have a lot of open will, and you can sometimes get overwhelmed or punished early. So if you're going second, it's nice for having Puciel just in case your opponent kind of goes off, because you've got that white coin to be able to keep yourself safe, which I think is very nice. Now, I will say the main thing about this deck is your opening hand is 5 cards. Obviously, your max hand size is 5 because of the starting rune deck, but really, you're kind of just sculpting the hand for the best forms of interaction, because your opening turns should almost always be purely from rune deck. Engraved Rune of Motionless Freeze on 1, Glyph of Searing Divination on 2, and then on turn 3, you can just kind of go off with a 2 arms, and then a Taking Attendance, and then cast Demonic Glyph of Corroding Envy for 1, and then on turn 3, you just have Python live pretty easily while still leaving up will to be able to interact, which I think is awesome. I do think this deck is very, very resilient. I think it's cool. It's very consistent in terms of being able to set up that early pressure, or early defensive wall, and just having really good interaction to be able to help us get to that, oh, I'm just going to end the game by decking you out element thanks to Siphone. Again, in Wanderer, I don't think this deck changes much. I think the stone base maybe changes a little. Like, instead of Remains of Ataraktia, you can play Dark Depths, so you're not hurting yourself as much. Maybe we put in things like Look of Corruption over Forgotten Amphitheater, maybe Bless Vacus, that kind of thing. But mostly, I think the deck is kind of what I want it to be. There's really nothing I would change there. I could maybe see you maybe go 2 arms to cut down on the number of Puciel and Kushiel you're playing here. You could maybe go down to 1 so that you just know in the matchup that it's needed. Then you have 2 arms to help yourself, but that's an option too. This is the deck though. It's a ton of fun, and the link is in the description down below. Again, not much changes with it going to Wanderer, but so that's why we're kind of just keeping it as is, but I do think there's a a lot of really good combinations for control elements in this color combo of blue, white, black. So let me know how you guys have been playing it in the comment sections down below, or what else you have been doing with Siphone as well. I'm very curious to hear what you guys are playing that way too. Maybe a Siphone Baroost. I don't know what red, white, black would look like with that, but I'm curious. So let me know what you guys think about it in the comment sections down below. And until next time, this is DMO73 saying class dismissed.